All right, what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? Welcome back here to Just Spawn. Hope everybody is having a good All-Star weekend. I am recording this shortly before the main All-Star games on Sunday night, and I thought it was going to be a fun idea to look back and just kind of look at ESPN's top 100 players for this 2025 NBA season and how they're doing so far, basically. Are they right on some of these? Are they wrong about some of these? And I think it's going to be really interesting to see where they have some of these guys at the top of this list. Because I remember at the time, there was one player specifically that I'll mention when I talk about him that was just so low. And it's actually going to be it's just going to be very funny how wrong ESPN was. So yeah, we're basically just going to see how these have ranked so far from 100 to 1. So they start off with Anthony Simons. Sure, at 100, Anthony Simons has actually had some good shooting numbers this year, and has had some nice games. I don't think the defense has gotten much better, but you kind of know what Anthony Simons is, and the Blazers as a whole has been playing better as of late. He kicks us off at 100, sure. Chris Paul at 99. You know what? I'm glad that Chris Paul is in the top 100. Has he been playing like a top 100 guy this year? I don't know. Like, the NBA is a lot better with the talent, and it's deeper, so I don't know if Chris Paul is a top 100 guy, but I think he's right there. So perfectly fine with Chris Paul at 99. They dropped him 23 spots from the 2023 ranking, where they had him at 76. Yeah, Mike Conley at 98. Mike Conley has not been better than Chris Paul this year. He's not been better than Anthony Simons. Probably hasn't even been a top 150 guy this year, which is kind of crazy to say. It looks like Father Time is catching up to Mike Conley, and I wouldn't say he's a top 100 player. Herb Jones at 97. I think this is one, it would be unfair to critique or to really just judge this one because Herb Jones has been mainly hurt for most of the season, and he's going to be out for the rest of the year. It's just been a disastrous season for the Pelicans as a whole. We have Al Horford at 96. I think Al Horford, I don't know if he's been a top 100 guy this year. I think we are seeing a little bit of regression, but just shout out to Al Horford. Still knocking down threes, man. And this Joe Mazzulla ball offense, he's really been a perfect guy that's aged kind of like fine wine for this Celtics offense, and obviously was a big contributor last year for them to win the finals, and he was good in Boston, leaves, comes back, and has been such a good piece for that team. Jalen Suggs at 95, I think also someone that's been banged up this year. His offense maybe hasn't been as consistent. I hope next year he's more of a two guard. I don't really like seeing Jalen Suggs as a primary ball handler in the NBA. Keegan Murray at 94. I don't know if I would have Keegan Murray this high, honestly. Keegan Murray's shot has been kind of disappointing. There have been like some glimmer of hopes, stretches that it's starting to fall down. I still like Keegan Murray's defense, but I just think his offense hasn't really been great. Brook Lopez at 93, I think that's fine. Jabari Smith Jr. at 92 got off to an abysmal start and then was rattling off some good games and then had the hand injury. He's going to be back soon, so I think that one's a little bit of a TBD, hard to rank. We have Jonas Valanciunas at 91. I don't know. I don't know if Valanciunas is the top 100 guy at this point. He was traded for 2 seconds to Sacramento, and he's going to be a backup center for the rest of the year. So I would say he's not been top 100. Wiggins at 90. So they had him 54th going into the going to the 24 season, which I honestly think is kind of high for how bad he was, I think, leading up to that. And then he was disappointing in the 24 season, but this year has been like really good for the Warriors, and then was obviously in the Jimmy Butler trade. He's looked okay, I think, so far in Miami. It might take a little bit of time to go from the Kerr offense to the Spo offense. Michael Porter Jr. at 89 feels low. Feels low for what MPJ provides you. Isaiah Hartenstein at 88, so they were very high. Actually, I don't know if I would consider this high on Hartenstein, who was banged up to start off the year, but probably has been better than number 88 for what he's been providing OKC defensively. It's crazy how many good defenders OKC has this year. I mean, they're the top team in terms of defensive rating, but you talk about Caruso, Dort, even Kenrich Williams, Hartenstein, Shea, Cason Wallace, it's J-Dub, like Chet's back, like the defense on OKC is incredible. And them going from Giddey to Caruso, I think is going to pay off so many dividends when we get to the playoffs. Naz Reid at 87. Okay. Naz Reid, big contract here. I think he's been around this range. Jaime Jaquez at 86 is way, way too high. There's a lot of players behind Jaime, Naz, Hartenstein. That is crazy. That is crazy that they had Jaime Jaquez ranked 86th for the 2025 NBA season. And oh my God, and Michael Porter Jr. was 89th. They were really sipping the Jaime Jaquez Kool-Aid. I guess they really thought this could have been like a year 2 breakout. But did they not watch Jaquez at all in the second half? And Jaquez has shown some flashes this year where he's improved in a way, but I don't think he has improved that much. I think it's been marginal improvement. And Without Jimmy Butler, he has stepped up at times, but I don't think he's been playing. I mean, maybe if you map it out, he's around this range, but there's a lot of guys behind Jaime that I'm really shocked that Jaquez ahead of. I don't even remember this. Like Naz Reid, Hardenstein, Michael Porter Jr., all three of those guys behind Hawkins is crazy. Wiggins behind Hawkins is crazy as well. All right, that is my big, like, all right, that one has not aged well. 85, Lou Dort, fine with me. Obviously, we know what Lou Dort can provide on both ends of the floor. CJ McCollum at 84, probably low for the offensive output CJ's had this year. Marcus Smart at 83. That hasn't been great. Marcus Smart has not been a top 100 guy, and there are many players behind Marcus Smart here that have been better. Hey, maybe he ends up playing better in Washington. Maybe he's going to have some of the best scoring games since his Celtics days, but yeah, his days in Memphis are done. Mitchell Robinson at 82. We haven't seen him this year. So yeah, we'll see how Mitchell Robinson is looking when he comes back, because he hasn't played all year. Miles Turner, 81. Okay. I mean, like, I'll give credit where credit's due. I think that's a little bit of a hot take, having Turner at 81. And Turner's had his up and downs this year, where I think, like, that probably came with some criticism. Everybody was probably like, Miles Turner way too low. And I think that's probably around the range where Turner has been this year. Maybe slightly better than that. Jeremy Grant at 80. I don't think Jeremy Grant's been a top 80 guy this year. Fred VanVleet at 79. Probably not been a top 80 guy. Brandon Podziemski at 78. How did they have Pods ahead of Michael Porter Jr.? Like, I get the value that Pods and Jaquez, like, bring on their rookie contracts, but they're not factoring in, like, trade asset here. They're not factoring in the asset in general when you take into account age in the rookie deal. I don't know how you would have Pods and Jaquez better than Jaime Jaquez going into this year. McDaniels at 77. Jaden McDaniels. I mean, I think McDaniels has been, I don't know if I want to say disappointing offensively, but I feel like he hasn't really taken the step that I thought he could have at all really since the 23 season, but he's still an incredible defender. Yeah, this is a bad take here. We have Tyler Hero at 76. Tyler Hero is an all-star in the Eastern Conference. He's been incredible. He's been by far and away the best Miami Heat with or without Jimmy Butler. And he may end up on an all-NBA team, or at least is going to be in those conversations, especially if he can lead the Miami Heat to a playoff appearance. And it is funny to see Dante DiVincenzo one spot ahead of Hero. Like, what? Dante was even better last year with the Knicks, and maybe they thought Dante was going to be even better coming off last year's season. But wow, that is a crazy take. Zach LaVine at 74. I mean, that is kind of low for the way LaVine's been playing this year. LaVine's been really good. LaVine has definitely been a top 50 guy just in this year in 2025. We'll see how he looks throughout the second half in Sacramento. Jared Allen at 73. Might be too low the way he's been playing. Reeves at 72, which maybe seemed high at the time. Maybe they weren't high enough, because Reeves has been a top 50 guy in the league, and he's been incredible for the Lakers with all their injuries, with obviously the team not having Anthony Davis anymore. Luka, they just got him, and LeBron being in and out of the lineup. And Reeves has really stepped up as a playmaker, shot creator, and just an offensive like hub for this team. So yeah, I don't remember if, I think people did think that was high. Like Reeves over Zach LaVine, I probably had an issue with. And honestly, it's not that far, but they both should be like 30 spots higher. I probably had an issue with Reeves over Hero, but you know what? Hey, they were high on Reeves, and that one's looking pretty good. Clay at 71. I mean, dude, like, I'm kind of glad I'm doing this, because I don't think I react to ESPN's top 100. I should do this at the end of the year on my Strauss channel, but yeah, Clay at 71, and then you have Reeves at 72, LaVine at 74, Tyler Hero at 76. That is insane. That is crazy. Bradley Beal at 70. I think that's kind of low for Beal. Like, I think Beal has been better than number 70 this year. It's just he's getting paid a ton of money. Jalen Green at 69. I mean, Green has not been better than some of the guys we've talked about, like Reeves, LaVine, and Hero, but I mean, Green's had his moments. He's been inconsistent yet again for this team. Brandon Miller at 68. He's just been banged up and he's out for the year. He's going to play less than 30 games in year 2, which sucks. This is the big one. Cade Cunningham at 67. Yeah, I mean, we all had issues with this when it came out, so I don't even think this is like hindsight, yeah, 2020. No, like this was a bad take when it happened, and it is aging like milk. Cade has been borderline a top 10 player this year. He's an all-NBA guy right now, in my opinion. He's an all-star. He's leading the Pistons to around a 500 record with maybe not the best roster in the world. So this is crazy. 67. We have I can't wait to see the guys we have ahead of Cade. We have Draymond at 66. I mean, I love what Draymond can still provide the Warriors, but no. What? No. Malik Monk at 65. Oh my God, the amount of guys we're going to see. I'm going to see like 50 more players that should not have been ahead of Cade Cunningham. We have Malik Monk at 65. Good player, and I'm fine with Monk around this range. Quickly at 64. Injuries have banged up quickly this year. He probably hasn't been top 100. I mean, oh my God, man. Chris Middleton ahead of Cade Cunningham. I guess did they not predict the Cade breakout, or they were too scared to predict the Middleton regression, which we've seen. Now he's a Washington Wizard. Oh my God. Oh my God. KCP at 62. Oh my God, man. This is a tough read right now. KCP ranked, what, 5 spots ahead of Cade Cunningham this year. Oh my, and this is like a prediction for this year. This wasn't going into the year. This was a prediction for this year. Oh my God, that is so bad. All right, shout out to Josh Hart at 61. That is honestly too low, but I don't think anybody would have had Hart higher than this. So I'm glad they were high on Hart, because Hart has been averaging like 15 points and 10 rebounds for most of the year and like 5 assists, and he plays good defense. He plays 45 minutes a night. Hart has been probably a top 50 guy this year. Desmond Bane at 60. Been banged up this year, but I think has improved as a playmaker in 2025. Caruso at 59. I mean, I love Caruso's defense, but his offense, I mean, it got off to like the worst start imaginable. It has been better as of late, but I think like Caruso versus Bane and Hart are interesting conversations. I mean, just behind like you'd rather have Tower Hero. I know they provide you different things, but I'm taking Hero, and I'm obviously taking Cade Cunningham over Alex Caruso. Kobe White at 58. Kobe White, I know he was so good last year. I know he finished runner-up and most improved, but Kobe White ahead of Cade Cunningham. Insane. I had Cade Cunningham in my top 50. I ranked my top 50 players, and I believe I forget where I had Cade. I think I had Cade like mid-40s, which, yeah, I was wrong, but they had Cade high 60s. That is crazy. Garland at 57. That is too low. The way Garland has been playing this year, I'm an all-star, right? Yeah, I think he's an all-star. Derek Lively at 56, that's fine. I think it was a hyped, rookie season. Probably a little bit too high. Lively, I'm going to compare a lot of these guys to Cade, and Lively to Cade is funny. Jaren Jackson Jr. at 55, that is way too low. He's been a top 30 player this year. Şengün at 54, another player that's been top 30 this year. RJ at 53, I think that's fair for RJ. Pretty much. Hey, you're a top 55 player in the league. That's not bad. Franz at 52. I mean, Franz, when healthy, he's probably been better than that. OG at 51. That's fine. I think OG's around that range, maybe a little bit lower this year. Another injury, like a soft tissue injury. Who knows, man? OG does get hurt a decent amount. So that was 100 to 50. And yeah, Hero way too low. Cade way too low. I guess Reeves is low, but I know they got clowned for that earlier in the year, so I'm going to give them credit for that one. All right, so at 50, we have LaMelo Ball. That's fine. I guess that's probably low. Yeah, well, LaMelo's been top 50 for sure when he's been healthy out there. Aaron Gordon at 49. We're seeing Aaron Gordon ahead of Darius Garland, Aaron Gordon ahead of Cade Cunningham, Aaron Gordon ahead of Tower Hero. Randall being 20 spots ahead of Cade. How much a year can change, man. Evan Mobley at 47, probably too low for him being an all-star this year. KP at 46, that's fine. When he's healthy, he can be top 50. DeMar at 45, I'm fine with that. I don't really have an issue. Jalen Williams at 44, that maybe felt high going into the year, but definitely not at all, as he's been better than that. DeJounte at 43. DeJounte really didn't get to play that much this year because he got hurt in his first game and then tears his Achilles. When he's actually been playing, he's probably not even been top 100, but it's kind of unfair because Murray was banged up a ton this year. Pascal at 42, probably a little bit low. Pascal being an all-star this year. Harden at 41, I guess that's kind of low. I was low on Harden in mine, and that's something I'm wrong about. Harden was an all-star. Do I think he should have made the all-star game? Debatable. I'm glad Kyrie got in because of an injury. But, I think Domantas Sabonis maybe deserved it a little bit more than Harden. But, you know what? Shout out to Harden this year. I don't want to sound like a Harden hater, and I probably do. But, yeah, I think Harden's probably top 40 this year for sure. Ingram at 40. Yeah, too high, but he was banged up. Derek White at 39. I think for what he provides you, that's fine. I don't think that's too high. But, Derek White, 40 spots ahead of Cade just doesn't, or 30 spots ahead of Cade just doesn't feel right. Mikal Bridges at 38. You guys know I'm a big Knicks fan, but he has not been a top 40 player this year. I would probably say he's, mid to late 50s, which, you gave up 6 first-round picks basically for him. That is a lot. That is a ton, but I think that's fine. 38 is way too high. I would say he's probably, mid-50s so far this year. Trey at 37. Trey was an all-star. He's leading the NBA in assists. I would say this is probably around, I'm fine with him at 37. Maybe should be a little bit higher, closer to 30, but I think that's fine. Drew Holiday at 36. That is a bad take for sure. Drew has not been a top 50 guy this year. We're seeing a little bit of signs of regression. Scotty at 35, another player that's been banged up. I feel like they were very high on the Raptors core this year going into this season. Scotty's been banged up. Has he played like a top 35 guy when healthy? I wouldn't say so. it's funny because when I made my top 50 list, I had Scotty at 47, and I was getting like replies and mentions on Twitter galore. Like I have still people that comment on my YouTube content like Scotty at 47, which I think Raptors fans, like, I'm saying this for a very small group, and every fan base has this, so I'm not coming at you guys, Raptors fans. I know you guys are great people, but there's a small group of Raptors fans that are so insane, like so insane. And I don't know if it's a Canadian thing. I don't know if it's just the Raptors fan base as a whole, but oh my God, I've never seen a fan base be so mad at me before for when I ranked Scotty 47. And you know what? He's been around that range this year. So I'd like a formal apology to 15 Raptors fans or 25 Raptors fans that were coming at me in ways I've never seen before on Twitter. But hey, I know it's a small group. It's 0.0000001% of the fans, but they're kind of crazy. Rudy Gobert 34. That's high. That's high for what Rudy has done this year. Markkanen at 33, also high, but I don't think anybody really expected Markkanen to be. I mean, I don't think Markkanen's been like disappointing, but he's probably not been a top 35 player like we thought he could be going into the year. Chet at 32, he's been banged up, so that's fine. Jamal Murray at 31. I mean, at the start of the year, I mean, they dropped him 14 spots, and he had a disappointing kind of end to last year's season. He had a disappointing Olympics. I think I want to give props to ESPN for this one. I think I would have ranked him a little bit lower. I forget where I ranked him. It might have been in this range, but I think Murray at 31 could have came with some criticism, and he's been great. He had a 50-point performance against the Blazers the other night. Cat at 30, too low. Like, Cat's been a top 15 guy this year. He may end up on an all-NBA team. So, yeah, Cat at 30 is pretty low. Domantas Sabonis at 29, I feel like that's low. There's a chance Domantas Sabonis makes an all-NBA team and wasn't an all-star, which is kind of crazy. Jimmy at 28, I mean, he's been suspended multiple times this year. I don't think he's been top 30 even when he's healthy. Zion at 27, like, it's a disappointing year once again with Zion and his injuries, but Zion when healthy has been definitely top 30 in the very small sample size he's been healthy. So I'm kind of fine with that. We have De'Aaron Fox at 26, probably like a tad too high, but I think it's fine. Kyrie at 25, that might be too low. Like, Kyrie's an all-star this year. Kyrie has been incredible as a 32-year-old. Paolo at 24, I mean, he's missed most of the year. He looked like a top 5 player in the first 5 games. I don't think he's 100%, so I would say this is fine around this range. Like, if you're probably mapping it out right now, taking into account injury, probably too high at 24. Dame at 23, that's fine. Dame was an all-star this year. Dame has been better this year than he was last year for Milwaukee, so maybe that's too low at 23. Kawhi at 22, I mean, when watching Kawhi this year, he's not a top 25 guy, but they're obviously easing him back into the swing of things, trying to get him at 100% for the playoffs, so I just don't think we're going to see Kawhi ever again as a top 25 guy, unless he somehow reverts back to 2019 Kawhi for the playoffs. Paul George at 21. This is a funny one. This really is, because Paul George has probably not played like a top 75 guy this year, and he got the max. He got the 4-year max. And I live in Philly. I was talking to a bunch of Sixers fans last night, and they're like, how did we go from Tobias Harris to Paul George, and it somehow got worse? I mean, I felt bad. They're like, they were all just like, I wish we re-signed Jimmy Butler in 2019, and we never brought back Tobias. And like, who knows what, like Jimmy was able to go to the finals with Bam Adebayo. Imagine like I don't know, say they traded Ben Simmons and you chose Jimmy over Ben Simmons. Like, that would have been crazy at the time, but it would have worked out. And I mean, Embiid's better than Bam, and I don't know, man. I was thinking about that. Like, what if they chose Jimmy and Embiid as the duo going forward, and they traded Simmons in like 2020? I don't know. Hindsight's 2020, but yeah, this is a bad take here. But I don't think. I mean, I was worried about this contract, and I've said that. Year 3, year 4, yeah, I think Paul George could have regressed. I didn't think he was going to be this bad in year 1. But he's dealt with so many injuries this year. Ja at 20, I mean, that's too high, but I think I was wrong about this. And I think I had Ja ranked as like my 4th point guard going into the year. L take by me. I think I should have realized this was going to be more of a rehab year for Ja. And then I think he could be around this range next year, but too high at 20. Maxey at 19, it's probably a little bit too high, but I think he's around this range, so fine with that. Bam at 18, yeah, Bam has not been a top 35 40 guy this year. I think around like the 40-ish range, like 45, because of the defense. But offensively, he has not even been like, I mean, the 3-point shot has been so disappointing. Donovan Mitchell at 17, I think that's a perfect spot for him. Halliburton at 16, yeah, Halliburton has not been a top 30 guy this year. Maybe a little bit after that, but Halliburton at 16, that's far from what he's been. Booker's had a down year to his standards, and he's at 15. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, I think Booker's been still really good. Jaylen Brown at 14, also another down year to his standards. So maybe it's too high at 14, but it's still been great. 80 at 13, I mean, this looked maybe too low to start off the year. Probably around the right range, and who would have thought he was going to be a Maverick? Brunson at 12, I mean, Brunson this year is playing like a borderline All-NBA first-team guy, so technically this is too low, but I'm fine with it. Wemby at 11, I mean, people are probably like, wow, already? This might be too low. Like, Wemby's arguably been top 5 this year, and he's going to be on All-NBA first team. So we have Wemby at 11. At number 10, we do have Anthony Edwards, which I think that's fine for what Ant has done this year. Number 9, Kevin Durant. I think when KD's healthy, that's fine. Maybe he's a little bit lower than that now, but I think that's more than fine. Embiid at 8. I mean, when Embiid's been healthy, which has been very, not a lot this year, I guess I could say, he has not been a top 10 player in the league, but I mean, who would have thought? And you would have had balls to rank him like number 20. And yeah, I think Sixers fans would have maybe not been pleased with that going into the year. Number 7, LeBron. Has LeBron been the 7th best player in the NBA? I don't know. Like, I don't think LeBron's an All-NBA second team guy right now, but third team, sure. So like, I'm fine with that for a 40-year-old in that range. Curry at 6, yeah. Like, I know Curry's starting the All-Star game. It's in Golden State, you know, but I don't think Curry has been a top 6 guy in the league. I don't know if he's been a top 20 guy in the league this year, so probably too high for Steph. Number 5, we have Jason Tatum. Fine with me. He's probably going to finish around that in the MVP voting. Number 4, we have Shea. I guess this is technically wrong. He's either 1 or 2 this year, but fine with him at 4. 3, we have Giannis. Yeah, he's going to finish 3rd in MVP voting again. I still think he's the 2nd best player in the NBA. Till I see Shea maybe win a title. I can't really put Shea ahead of Giannis or Jokic, but we're going to have Giannis 3. We're going to have Luka 2. I mean, when Luka's been healthy, he's probably been like 5, 6, or 7 this year, and it doesn't still look like he's at full strength. He's on a minutes restriction, and it's wild that he's not a Maverick anymore. So I guess Luka's a little bit too high, and then Jokic, I think, is just right at 1. If I had an MVP vote, dude, it's tough. Like, I know what Shea's doing this year has been historic for a guard, but Jokic is averaging a triple-double and shooting 58% from the field, 40+% from 3, and 80+% from the free throw line, and his team's going to win 50+ games. I don't know. That's tough not to give it to Jokic. So that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was really fun to actually look back on and see what is aged poorly. And it's just like Kate at 67 is the funniest thing in the world. And some of these other ones are kind of bad. Let me know if you guys did enjoy this. If you're watching on YouTube, to drop a thumbs up. Hopefully you guys listening on audio were able to follow along throughout this. And yeah, if you guys are listening over there, or if you're watching on YouTube, I'd appreciate you going to the YouTube description and maybe go follow the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.